All right, everyone. Hello and good morning. Thank you so much for coming to Fall 2021 Group Advising. I am going to start off today's presentation by just acknowledging a land acknowledgement. UW Parkside is on Potawatomi land, so I think it's really important to take that into consideration, know how lucky we are, and honor the land that we are using on a daily basis. Most of you may know me by now, but my name is Hillary Vara, and I am the nursing advisor here at UW Parkside. With that being said, I am your person. I'm here for you to ask any questions to. I do have a couple emails. I have a Parkside email, which is vara@uwp.edu, but I also have hmvara@uwm.edu. I do prefer hmvara. Both emails will get to me, but I do check hmvara a little bit more frequently. You make an appointment with me through Navigate. You have my entire calendar in your palm of your hand on your phone on Navigate. So that is something to take advantage of. I am in office Monday through Wednesday, and I will be virtual Thursday through Friday with a sporadic trip up to UWM, but my calendar will reflect that. I like to put it right in the open. I'm an animal person. I have 3 dogs who I love so much. As you can see, I have Lucy, Ruby, and Brody. These are my little fur babies, and it's not awkward at all if I ask you to send me pictures of your fur babies. This is what gets me through. But wait, there's more. I also have 2 cats and a turtle, and a funny story with Franklin the turtle is that I foster for the Wisconsin Humane Society, and I fostered this turtle, and long story short, he's mine. I kept him. He's the coolest little dude. He loves to eat those little mealworms. He's fun. So I love my animals. In group advising today, we're going to go over some housekeeping items, expectations within the program itself, and then to end it, like I may have mentioned a little earlier, we are going to have a student panel, which is going to be super exciting. We have 2 students from the professional major coming, where you're going to be able to ask them any questions about the program, what types of resources they utilized, and tips and tricks that help them be successful. This slide was kind of for my in-person people, but definitely take a look at who's in the chat. Notice these names and remember these names, because these people are your people. These people are the ones that are going to be in the classroom with you and potentially right alongside you in the nursing program. So get to know these people. You grow together. Parkside is a smaller cohort, so it is a very great perk being in the cohort at UW Parkside. Something I want to point off right from the top is that your email is super important. 1, check, but 2, make sure you're entering it in correctly. If you signed up through Qualtrics for this session, I did send you all an email reminder. If you did not get one, it was because your email was entered incorrectly. This is very important for accuracy, as well as making sure that you're getting all the emails you need. So it's @Rangers, and don't forget the S, which is a very common error, .uwp.edu. Something else that I like to enlighten students on is Unidays is an awesome app for students. So if you don't have it, download it, check it out, but you can get a ton of discounts. I'm a huge person on saving money. So I love that on Adidas, you can save, anywhere between 20 and 30% for students, various different types of student promotions. If you're not already getting your Spotify and Apple Music for half off, please consider changing your account over to your college email, because you can be saving money with your college discount. I also did not mention, but I do have the chat up. So if anyone has any questions, concerns while I'm going, I will monitor that. So feel free to type it all in. These apps are important to have on your phone for a multitude of reasons. Navigate, again, that's how you make connections with me. That is how you are also able to utilize study buddies, which I'll talk about more in a little bit. If we're meeting virtually, which we all are right now, you all are here, and that's fantastic. Make sure to have Teams actually downloaded to your computer. So if you select a virtual meeting with me for this fall or any future semesters, it's going to save us time by having this equipment already equipped, so we don't have to have any technical errors. Have your email on your phone. I know this sounds repetitive, but it makes a huge difference in ensuring that you're not missing anything. And Duo. It's come to my attention that sometimes students' phones break, they lose their phone, and then they have no way to get into their account. But wait, you do. If you stop by the UW Parkside Tech Bar, you're able to get a little fob. And this fob will be able to give you a code where you're able to enter it into Duo to bypass that and get to all of your student accounts. So if you ever find yourself in that sticky situation where your phone is malfunctioning or it's MIA, definitely let me know and I can help you get a fob. Many of you know I have a Facebook. I started this with COVID and it's been a hit. I post reminders. I post a lot of things that I don't want to send out in a big email to clutter your boxes. You get enough. But those little extra things I do post onto my Facebook. So if you have one, please consider adding me and take a few minutes to do that right now. This panel, where's this screenshot from? Anyone want to type out that answer or turn off their mic? Where's this from? Where have you seen this before? Nice. Yes. Thank you, Raina. So solar. This is a very important part on solar to look at. It has a lot of information in these few little boxes. So if you have a hold right here, specifically an academic advising hold, that's my hold. That means you need to make an appointment with me. If you have that hold after you meet with me, please email me. That just means I forgot to remove it. But an academic advising hold will stop you from registering for classes. A past due hold, which means you owe the institution money, will also stop you from registering for classes. So you're going to want to make sure that you're clean with all of your holds so you don't have any issues registering. Your to-do list, that's going to have information regarding if your FAFSA needs additional paperwork, if you never submitted a final transcript from an institution, that is an important box to also follow. And then your enrollment dates. So enrollment opens up November 8th. That is going to be open enrollment, but that does not mean you are able to register. Your personalized enrollment date and time will be on your solar in this enrollment date box. So definitely check that out, put that in your calendar. I'll talk about this a couple more times throughout this presentation this morning, and make sure that whatever you're doing at that day and that time, you are enrolling and proceeding to step 2 of 3 to enroll in your classes in solar. And now, most importantly, please make sure my name is listed as your advisor. This is vital for you to get my emails, vital for you to be able to utilize my Navigate calendar. So if you aren't able to make an appointment on Navigate with me, make sure my name is here on Solar and Navigate talk. So it's going to be important that this information is correct for you. And then just email me and I'll be able to take care of it. This next slide, in person, I talk about it a little bit more interactively, but it is 8:30 a.m. and I acknowledge. So what is a nurse to you? I want you to have that question throughout yourself in the program. You are here for a reason. You are here because you're a motivated individual who wants to help others. But most importantly, I want you to understand UW-Milwaukee's College of Nursing core values. If you can understand and learn these values today, tomorrow, in a week, this is not going to only help you on your nursing application, but help you through the duration of your program. Also, help you start thinking of examples of how you're including these values into your daily life, which are going to make you a wonderful nurse. So please, if you don't know or don't know where I pulled that off, take a screenshot of those values and start thinking about how you on your daily life are incorporating those as a CNA, as a volunteer, as a student worker, or in a leadership role. These are great values to follow. Every semester, you should be meeting with me one-on-one. Again, if you have a hold, that's going to be your signal. If you don't have a hold and still want to meet with me, I highly suggest so we can ensure that you're following your plan of study. Coming to group advising, give yourself all a little snap. You are here, so this is fantastic. I have group advising once a semester, once in fall, once in spring, and I usually will have about 3 sessions per week of group advising. Having me check your shopping cart, that's going to be vital as well. I encourage all of you to come to your meeting with me with the classes that are on your plan of study into your shopping cart. That's going to allow us to make sure that you're not only enrolling in the correct things, but also save us some time and be able to talk a little bit more about you. Talk about what's going on, talk about any issues you might be having, and maybe just talk about some of the good things going on in your life, which I love to do. You want to make sure you declare your major as pre-nursing. Again, make sure my name is listed on your solar and know the Getting Started guide. I have emailed this out. I will give you a paper copy if you request. But this is important to know all of the policies, procedures regarding the nursing program, and we'll go over this a little bit more in depth today. And also know how to calculate your nursing and science GPAs. That is going to be important because, as you know, not all of the classes you're taking count into the GPA calculation. And we do not use DARS or AAR. If for some of you who've been rolling with me for a few years now, DARS has now sunset, so we no longer have DARS, and now we use academic advising reports, which is also known as AAR, but due to the consortium program, we don't necessarily follow that. So that's another reason why it's very vital to meet with me. Everyone in the program starts off as pre-nursing. And what is pre-nursing? It is gearing you up, getting you ready for the professional major. Things to be thinking about doing while you're in pre-nursing is getting your CNA. It is not needed for the professional major. And I will say that one more time for the people in the back, that it is not needed. However, it can be greatly helpful. It will get you a little bit more advanced. You'd know how to transport patients. You'll know a little bit more about bedside manner, what it's like to be in a healthcare facility. So if you have time, potentially that summer after your freshman year, or maybe over the winter, think about getting your CNA. And make sure you're volunteering. Another thing with our program is there is a volunteering component. While we don't expect you to have a certain number of hours, we still are expecting you to volunteer. And what we're looking at is how you are balancing your work life, your volunteer life, school life, all of those things. Job shadowing. If you have anyone in your family or in your life that you could potentially go and job shadow, that would be an amazing opportunity. And start seeking out leadership opportunities. So if you are a Taco Bell employee and a shift lead position comes up, or you become a manager in your retail store, that is leadership experience and should go on your application as you're learning those and crossing off those boxes for those competencies of leadership. Learn and make sure your resume and LinkedIn are up to date. That's going to be important. For those in my freshman seminar, we had Linda come and talk just a couple weeks ago and give us a nice review on resumes. As you're applying for student jobs or internships, make sure that your resume is up to date and fully giving the reader everything that you have. Don't sell yourself short, and I can definitely help you with this. The Advising and Career Center on campus can help you with this. And making sure that we're aiming for a B or higher. A B is a solid 3.0. Does someone in the chat want to type in what's the competitive GPA for our nursing program? Or turn off their mic and say it? What is competitive GPA for our nursing program? 3.5. That's a little ambitious. I would say a 3.3 or higher is going to be great. A 3.3, 3.4, 3.5. So no, you are great, Anna. And if you are there, that is setting you up for a very competitive nature. I believe for the science, we need a 3.5, but overall, you'll be in that advanced category with a 3.3 or higher. So acknowledging that, and I thank you for answering, a B is a solid 3.0. So if you're earning Bs, that's fantastic. You're in the 3.0 range, but that is not quite competitive. We definitely need to sprinkle in some A's and be happy with the B, but shoot for an A. And we'll talk about that a little bit more with regarding the repeat policy. If there's any questions, please feel free to shoot them in the chat. So I really like how this diagram kind of pictures exactly the stages throughout our program. So all of you have made it past orientation, you're accepted, you're halfway through your first semester or second semester, third semester of college. And right now we're in this pre-nursing zone. So you're in pre-nursing for 1 to 3 years. 2 years, 1 year if you're transferred potentially, 2 years if you are on a 4-year plan, and 3 years if you're on a 5-year plan. And there's no right or wrong way to do it. Everyone's nursing journey is different, and that's something beautiful about our program, about the nature of nursing. And pre-nursing is gearing you up for that professional major, everything we just kind of highlighted, volunteering component, leadership component, how are you balancing everything. When you are almost ready to apply, the application opens in November. We'll talk about when exactly you are ready to apply in our appointments, but also typically at that 2nd or 3rd year mark. In November, you're going to the application opens and you're going to be ready to apply. It is going to be due January 2nd at 5 p.m. That's a very firm yearly deadline. Do not miss it. Then, as long as your GPAs check out, that whole month of January, I'm behind the scenes making sure everyone's GPAs are accurate, making sure they meet the 2.75. And as long as you're at the 2.75, you'll be invited for the interview and essay portion of the application. Followed by that February, March, you'll find out if you were accepted into our program. If you were accepted, I then talk to you about the I'm in Now What meeting, as well as Castle Branch requirements, background check requirements. And if you're not accepted, we still talk about that. We can have you go on the wait list. We can have you start talking about a plan B. So a plan B is something that I want everyone to think about. As we progress, all of your pre-nursing coursework must be completed by the time you start the professional major. So if you were scheduled to take microbiology over the summer, you got accepted in March, scheduled to take micro over the summer, and then you decided that you weren't taking micro over the summer, well, at that point, you would lose your spot into our professional program because you did not complete all of the pre-nursing classes by the time you would start the major. But note, you don't have to complete them all by the time you apply, because if you were to complete all of the classes by the time you apply in this November-January bracket, you would have nothing to do this spring semester. So as long as we're on a good plan to ensure that you're finishing all your classes, will be a-okay. Then you're going to start the professional major, and the professional major is a solid 2 years, which we will talk about on another slide. You then graduate from UW-Milwaukee, as this is the consortial program, but what's really cool is you are able to walk in UW-Parkside's graduation and or UW-Milwaukee's. So you will have the choice, and especially with COVID right now, a lot of families have like that option, so some can come to Milwaukee, some can come to Parkside, so you kind of get the best of both worlds. Then you'll go ahead and take the NCLEX and become the best BSN RN nurse out there. Now to talk about the professional major a little bit, we'll talk about this a whole lot more once you get a little bit closer. However, I like to give everyone a little bit of a heads up of what's going on. So as far as clinical sites go, you will have a clinical site each semester of the professional major. And we really strive and do our best to team you up with clinical sites in the area. So that's going to be Racine, Kenosha, Union Grove. But there is also another caveat that I like to talk about regarding that. So let's say your senior year and you want to work with children. Well, there's only one children's hospital in Wisconsin, so you would end up ultimately going to Wauwatosa, Milwaukee, Wauwatosa, and go to the children's hospital there for your clinical site, which would be awesome experience working at a children's hospital. So we do really strive to partner you up in the Racine, Kenosha area, but just also be prepared and mindful that some of these experiences may lead you a little further. At Parkside, this is a full-time program only. So we have to ensure that you're in all of these classes because these fall classes are not offered in spring and these spring classes are not offered in fall. So that is another component to be mindful of. We only admit 40 students each fall. I know that sounds like a scary number, but on average, we have about 50 to 60 students applying. So if you've done any homework about nursing programs, it is competitive and it is rigorous. However, that is a fantastic ratio for you as someone applying to a program. And admission is competitive and not guaranteed. So that's why I always talk about a plan B. Whether you're a 4.0 student or meeting standards at the 2.75, I will always talk to you about a plan B and encourage you to have a plan B on deck. Alrighty, so for those of you who may be joining on phone, I am going to start going over the getting started guide. I'll do my best to talk it all out. But this blue box right here talks about the math and English competency. These two classes do not necessarily count into your pre-nursing GPAs, but they are needed for graduation and they are prerequisites to break into some of those pre-nursing GPAs. For example, you need Math 111 to get into Chemistry 115. So I can't get you into chemistry until you pass math. And same with English. If you're in English 100, you need to pass English 100 to get into English 101, and you need to pass English 101 to get into English 201 or 168. So there is some rhythm to it. And these are also graduation requirements that help you get to your 124 credits that you need for graduation. This next purple box talks about all of the required pre-nursing courses that need to be completed by the time you start the professional major. This yellow box talks about the GPAs, and if you look in that very small writing, the competitive GPA is a 3.3 to a 3.4. So it's listed right on this getting started guide, and you need a minimum of a 2.75. With a C or better in all classes. So if you were to earn a C- or lower, that's when you're going to go ahead and require repeats. So let's say, for instance, the first part of this policy is let's say you failed Psychology 101. You retook it, that's okay, you passed. Fantastic. Things got a little hairy in anatomy then. That's okay, you went ahead, retook it, and you passed. But then down the line, microbiology got a little funky. At that point, you would be ineligible for a program because you went beyond the 2 repeat policy. The other portion of this policy is that you can only repeat each class 1 time. So let's say we're zooming back to when you took Psychology 101. Then let's say that second time you took psychology, you failed it. So at that point, you would be ineligible for a program because you failed psych twice. If there are any questions about that, please let me know in the chat. Next, again, you need to ensure that all classes are completed with a C or better. So after you submit your application, and let's say you get accepted in March, it's going to be important for you to 1, pass all of your classes with a C or better, 2, ensure that you're meeting the 2.75 GPAs. Just because you earn a C in, let's say you had to finish Anatomy 2, and you earned a C in Anatomy 2. Just because you finished with a C, if that C tanks down your GPA to below a 2.75, you would lose your spot in the program. So after you get accepted, we need to ensure that you're completing all the courses with a C or better and maintaining a 2.75 GPA. This is your plan of study, and this plan of study is something that I send to you after orientation. This is something that we talk about in every appointment, and this is a tool for you to really utilize and ask me questions based upon, and this is your plan. So when are you applying to the professional major? Well, it'll have this little notation right here, applying to the professional major over that winter 2022 term. So they're due January 2nd. So that means from November of, the fall semester to January 2nd, that's when the application is due. Again, rule of thumb is I say submit it before the holidays you celebrate, whether that is Christmas, whether that is Hanukkah. Make sure that you're getting this done so you can enjoy your break, enjoy the holiday a little bit. So that is an important factor. What do you need to complete? Well, each semester I will have what you need to complete and when you need to take it. And then I'll also have your anticipated graduation in this little corner box here, as well as what general education courses you still need to complete. So this is a very helpful tool that is personalized for your use. And when you are signing up for classes, I want you to follow this. If you're not following this, we can roll into issues which will come up in a moment here. So with the pre-nursing worksheet, this is that second Excel document that we'll use quite frequently and update your grades all the time. So this blue box right here goes over the prerequisites. So like how I just talked about, English 101 is a prerequisite to get into advanced composition. Math is a prerequisite to get into chemistry. So understanding that you need to follow the sequence of the order of your taking classes is going to be important. And I know that. So when I make these plans, I kind of automatically put them in like that. And the same reason is for these pink boxes, are that classes are only offered in specific terms. So if you're adjusting your plan of study without talking to me, we can find ourselves in kind of a hairy situation. So always communicate with me if you want to make changes, and ensure that if you are not taking genetics and genomics this spring, are you going to take it next spring? Do you have a next spring that you are able to take it without being in the professional major? So this is important stuff to understand and just know about the program. Now, with this purple box, all of these classes are what make up your pre-nursing GPA. This pre-nursing GPA needs to equal out that 2.75. Then we take a closer look at these 7 science classes that are now circled in this green box. And these 7 science classes then make up your science GPA. You may ask yourself, why do we take a look at another set of 2 GPAs from the same set of classes? And that's because we want to ensure that your science courses are strong. We want to ensure that you're going to be able to handle the rigor of the program. There's nothing worse than us allowing you to move on to next steps without being ready with a strong foundation in these courses. So I know anatomy is hard. I know a handful of students are really struggling with anatomy right now. And to be frank with you, I want you to understand anatomy is a core foundation of nursing. So I'd rather you struggle now to understand that full competency of the course than when you're in the professional major and maybe you're not very strong on knowing the bones and tissues and things of that nature. So that's something we can talk about in our one-on-one meetings as well. Only grades with a C or better are used. Some of you may have maybe not been successful in a class, and you'll see these red repeat 1, repeat 2 notations in the notes. That's how I keep track of repeats. And then making sure that the sheet also calculates your GPA. So in this bottom corner right here, your GPA will be calculated with the data we input. If there's any questions, once again, please feel free to message them in the chat. I will always send you your worksheets and we'll always update them. What you can do when you have them is put in anticipated grades. I'm a very motivated person by seeing the forecast of things. So if I need an A in this class to get this GPA, you bet your buttons I'm going to try my best to get an A in that course, or even an A- or a B+, because all of those do make a difference. So a C is what you need. Anything below C- or lower is scary. We don't want to go there, but our goal is always a B or better to be in that competitive zone. Nursing is competitive, nursing is rigorous, and admission is not guaranteed. I do not say that to scare you. I do not want to lose you, but I say that to prep you. I say that so you acknowledge that this may not be an easy ride, but at the same time, this is one of those careers that is amazing. I was on a student panel yesterday with Children's Hospital. At the panel, you might have seen the promotions around campus, and they told me that the base salary for a recent graduate nurse is $28.76 an hour, and that's not including differential pay of weekend hours or evening hours. This is a great career, so you do work hard for it, but the benefits and the satisfaction of helping people is going to pay off. 40 seats, not 40 students, 40 seats are available each fall semester. On average, we have 50 to 60 students applying. Fall admission is only at Parkside. So if you ever were maybe off kilter with your classes, or maybe took a semester off midway through, UW-Milwaukee, we could always have you transfer up to UW-Milwaukee, as they offer a spring start and a fall start. And your application will include the interview, the essay, the online application, as well as talking about your volunteer work and leadership experience. We're looking at that consistency. We're not so much looking at those fine details of hours. And your CNA is not required, but it is helpful. Kind of leading into your CNA, I recommend getting it at a technical college if you are interested. If you Google this, there's going to be a lot of ads that kind of pop up, and I don't want you to get taken for a ride. I want you to get a good quality education, and I personally stand by these technical colleges such as CLC, Gateway Technical College, MATC, which is Milwaukee Area Technical College. So definitely start there checking out your CNA classes. They do fill up quick over summer. So if this is something you're wanting to do over the summer, you're going to want to check it out probably around March and April. Volunteering, joining clubs on campus like SNAP, Red Cross, Pre-Health Club. I have students who are so excited about joining these clubs right now, and they're already getting awesome volunteerism leads. I also post about volunteering on my Facebook too, so if that's some additional stuff. And in your one-on-one meeting with me, if we have time, we can definitely talk about volunteer opportunities as well. To talk about SNAP a little bit, if you wanted to screenshot this email, if you want to ensure that your email is added on to the SNAP notifications, definitely do that. Jocelyn Santos, she's this very, very sweet professional major student, and she'll be happy to get you caught up with what's going on in SNAP, and also ensure that you're on those emails to know about future meetings. Looking for on-campus jobs and just joining campus engagement clubs are going to really help you, and great to put on your application. While you're volunteering and going through this, I highly, highly recommend and suggest you getting a notebook. And this notebook, you're going to put down every single thing that you are completing. So if you're just donating blood on one Saturday for like 2 hours, still put that on your list. If you're, been volunteering and dog walking for the Humane Society or petting cats on a weekly basis, make sure to write that down with those details, with the contact, the dates, because I'm telling you, once it comes to the application, you may not remember everything that you've completed, and I do not want you to sell yourself short. So with that being said, ensure that you're getting all of these things listed, and that way you'll have a nice big sheet of what you've accomplished right beside you as you're filling out your application. As I talked about, I did connect with Children's Hospital yesterday, and this was an awesome conversation in the career launch panel. So this event did just pass, but next week is the internship and career fair. Rogers Behavioral Health will be there. Scribe America will be there. There are a ton of health related places that will be there. And this is the time, just like how I've been talking and preaching how this is scholarship season, this is also finding your summer internship season. So definitely think about that when you're attending this fair. Have an updated resume, dress nice, and make sure that you're starting to network. You want to build your empire and ensure that you're making these connections now because they will benefit you later. One thing I want to hit on very quick is ensuring that we're emailing our professors with some understanding that they are your professor and they are a superior. With me, I appreciate being addressed as good morning, hello, Hillary. That's important. We aren't necessarily besties yet. So you want to make sure you're addressing professors and your advisors with a good morning. Please help me with XYZ. And they don't understand some of the lingo you guys are saying either. So I had a professor just email me and it wasn't addressed. It said a few things in the email that I didn't even know what it meant. So make sure that you are taking some time and consideration when you're emailing your professors. Getting a study buddy. This is a feature in the Navigate Student app, and you click on it. I encourage you to click on it and see what it's all about. If you want to connect with people who also want a study buddy, this is an awesome opportunity. This is also a good opportunity for you to find out who else is in your classes that may need help, and you can together create times outside of class that you would want to study. Emergency grant funding. I appreciate everything that you tell me, but you don't have to tell me everything. But if you are struggling and going through something, I hope you could let me know so I can help you. But if you do not, I want you to know some of these resources, such as emergency grant funding, making sure you're talking to financial aid to see if there's any other things that can be released in your financial aid package, food stamp benefits for food insecurities. And it also is scholarship season right now. So students should be applying for scholarships now for the fall semester. Volunteering and mentorship. This is something that gets me going, especially at 9 a.m. in the morning. But this is actually a photo of me and one of my mentors. His name is Dr. Robert Longwell Grice. And he has been a reference for me for every professional job that I've applied for. I met him when I was a student. And the reason I posted this picture here is because I want to encourage you to find some mentors. Find someone who's a professor, advisor, someone that you can ask questions to. As much as I want to be your mentor, and I'm definitely here in career aspects of things, I want you to find someone in nursing to ask those questions to. So this is an important thing I like to highlight. Also, I will post this, but there are 2 volunteer sites, one for Racine, one for Kenosha, with a whole list of different volunteering opportunities. So this is good stuff. The park, make sure you're going to the tutoring center for math, especially. Math 111 is the only, Math 111 or Math 104 are the only math classes that you're going to need. So ensure that you're getting that strong foundation, so chemistry will be a little bit easier, and so on and so forth. So if you have any questions regarding chemistry, psychology, they have all of this tutoring at the park, so make sure to utilize that. And talk to your professors. Don't be shy. They are people just like us. So while I say respect them and address them correctly, that will help you, but also talking to them will help you as well. They're going to know your name. We're at Parkside. We're a small institution. Your professor gets to know your name, so ensure that they know your name. And attend those extra science SI sessions and open lab hours. Open lab hours have been a huge savior for a lot of students so far in AMP. Mental health is very important. If you are going through anything, please connect to the Student Health and Counseling Center. This is a service I used a lot as a student because I felt overwhelmed and alone a lot going through my undergraduate to career. And whether you feel like that or you didn't, that's how I felt. So I did connect with the Student Health and Counseling Center, and I went there quite frequently, and it really helped me just get all of my dirty laundry out to someone who listened, and I knew it wasn't going anywhere. 'Cause sometimes your parents don't understand. I was a first-generation college student. They didn't get what I was doing. They didn't necessarily understand. They just knew I was at college. So all those stressors, these counselors will understand. The drop deadline. I want you to screenshot this. This is a very, very important deadline. Parkside has extended the drop deadline to November 30th. That is 2 weeks before exams. So if you are not doing swell in a class and you don't want to accrue a repeat, drop the class. But talk to me. On the 29th, I plan to have open office hours. So meaning students can just drop on in so we can talk about this quick and potentially drop the class. You will have the fee and you will have the W. But if you drop the class today or if you drop it on the 29th or 30th, the outcome is the same with the fee and W. So I don't say give up. Keep going until closer to this drop deadline. But know this drop deadline. And this is also some important dates. Talks about Thanksgiving break. Talks about when the winter term starts and when you would come back. So classes start January 31st for the spring semester. I do see I have a question. Does tuition increase once you enter the professional major? That's an awesome question. I recommend Anna connecting with our student panelists, but the answer is tuition doesn't necessarily increase. There is a little bit of a differential tuition, but it's more so additional fees, like for your scrubs, for your supplies, for the ATI software. So I don't include that in tuition, but it is a little bit more costly because of the additional supplies that you need from within the lab. Does that answer your question, Anna? You can just type in the chat, no worries. And maybe our student panelist will be able to help us out. And make sure you're ready for your advising appointment with me. Again, have your classes added into the cart for our meeting. This way we'll be able to ensure that you're in the right classes. If you're not, I can catch it. And then you'll be ready to go and we have more time to talk about other concerns that you might be having. These are some questions I may ask you. So be prepared to understand and answer some of these questions. And make sure you're just checking your email. And lastly, make sure my name is here. But also, if you are applying to the professional major, this is the upcoming meeting, November 11th at 12 p.m. I will have this virtual and I will share this question. I will share the virtual session, but I will not share that additional question and answer session, which I plan to have in person and virtual. I will not record this session. So screenshot this, take a picture of this. If you are applying to the professional major this year, I highly suggest coming to this. I have a different presentation I go over, and I also go over the application itself. Did I just leave? Did I just get kicked out of the session? All right, well, I am back and I'm just going to go and share the screen one more time. Can you guys hear me? Am I here?
I can hear you.
Awesome. Thank you. So I'm now going to formally welcome our student panelists, Riley and Karina. Are you guys on?
Yes.
Awesome. Oh, awesome. I'm so happy. Riley, you're here, right? Are you able to turn on your camera?
Yes.
Awesome.
Hello.
Awesome. Alrighty, guys. So I am going to, this is your time to shine, guys. For those students who are on here, I want you to feel like this is a safe space. So I'm actually going to exit off. I will be back on in about 5 to 8 minutes or so, but this is your time to ask 2 students in the nursing program any questions that you might be having about study tips. They're going to talk about their experience, and if
think we might have lost Hillary.
Yeah, I think we lost Hillary again.
Okay, yeah, she texted me.
Okay.
Um,
Does she want us
so,
to start?
yeah, I'll just start. I'll introduce myself. I'm Riley. I'm in the second year of the nursing program, my third semester. I'm 25. I've got a bachelor's in biology from UW-Madison. And I really am enjoying my time in the nursing program.
I'm Karina. I'm in my first year of the nursing program. I'm 21. Yeah, and I just think it's a fun experience. I've worked really hard to get to where I'm at today, and I know all the students in here as well are working really hard. And so, if you guys have any questions for us, is like how to study, what classes were difficult for us, and how we overcame them, what would be your number one piece of advice for someone applying this year? I would just stay confident. Honestly, there's the classes that you take are very hard. But don't be discouraged if you feel like you fail the test. There's always resources and efforts to make up that test that you failed. And some teachers are my teachers at least that I had were very helpful. And I didn't really struggle as much when I had their help. They also asked
Yeah, I
us.
think the earlier that
Go ahead.
the earlier that you reach out to your professors, if you feel like you're getting behind or having trouble, the better. They're not there to fail you. They're there to help you learn the material and get through the